Oh, right, guys. It's Jacob on the one up top, back again, and I'm going to review the. Well, not review, we'll review the game we just watched, Tottenham versus Newcastle. So I'm going to do what I do normally and respect the opposition. Well played, Newcastle. Doesn't shock me what they did. They set up the way that they needed to do. They didn't even set up like Tottenham did. Like the way Newcastle played, you'd think that they were the home team. So it's one of those. We already knew. I predicted it in the video that I did previously. I also said it on a load of podcasts, and I was getting a load of flack. I was getting a lot of inboxes saying to me like, "Oh yeah, why are you being so negative?" But I'm like, "Did you not watch us against United? Did you not watch Newcastle against United?" Do you get what I'm saying? So it's obvious that we weren't going to get the result here. Now, I predicted 1-1, but I never said a 1-1 like, oh yeah, you know what, we're going to dominate Newcastle and we deserve to win. It was like, whoever was going to win this game, it weren't going to be us, it was going to be Newcastle. So if you listen to my prediction fully, it's like I say to you that we're going to draw, but if there's anyone going to win, it's going to be Newcastle. So if you're going to say that, it'd be a 2-1, effectively. And that's what happened. Dead. Do you know what I mean? It's like, shout out Newcastle first and foremost. I've always liked Newcastle as a club. The way they play, you'd look at the individuals and you'd think, Newcastle hadn't even got a chance. But Eddie Howe played well, what's his name? Dan Burn was playing left back, and you kind of thought, okay, is that suspect? No, it's not going to be, because Conte didn't learn from the United game. And Newcastle literally sat there and knew exactly what they'd do. They had a plan, they had a way of playing the game, whereas we just chucked a load of people out there in a back five and a back three and just hope for the best. As soon as I saw Dan Burn playing left back, I thought, I was worried about him playing centre half. But then Conte, it took him like an hour, 70 minutes to realise that they've got a 6'7" left back out there. Let's put some pace out there. And then again, he did what he did against United. He sent out Lucas Moura far too late. Like, why is this guy not even starting? Do you know what I mean? It's so obvious that we miss Kulusevski for his pace. Now, Lucas Moura can't create. He can't create like Kulusevski, but he's got that pace. He's got that directness. But then, like I said, Dan Burn was out there asking to be attacked. And Conte was just like, no, we'll just do what we did at Old Trafford. Now, granted, we started well. We did start well. Do you know what I mean? Like, we started well, but I think I said it in a podcast again, that if we don't start well and score, Newcastle will gain confidence. And that's how football goes. It doesn't matter where you go. If you go to a tough team, you go to Man City, you go to Arsenal, Liverpool. If you go to those grounds and don't concede in the first 20 minutes, all of a sudden the crowd get edgy, the team get edgy, and you gain confidence. So that's what Newcastle did. You know what I mean? Newcastle, I thought they would have come to us confident anyway. But you give them even more confidence when it gets to 20 minutes. You had your good little spell of energy, and it didn't work. So as far as I'm concerned, it's like, it was written, and I called it a draw, but I called it a draw, and I didn't say a draw with my chest. It was a draw, like we'll probably lose it, and we did. So, congratulations to Newcastle. But I'm going to talk about everything that goes along with this team. It's ridiculous. Like, first and foremost, I want to go to the coach. Now, Conte, again, froze. He watched us get battered in situations, didn't make a change. And for me, I want to say something. It's like, how are we letting Conte get away with this because he's a top level coach that has won stuff, but then Mourinho was doing the same thing. But then the difference between Conte and Mourinho is that Mourinho had worse players. So if Mourinho had Bentancur, Kulusevski, Romero, do we get to the point where Mourinho goes from 7th to maybe 4th or 5th and then is being allowed the chance to manage the League Cup final? Of course he does. But he had to, Ollie Skip was integral to what Mourinho was doing. So as far as I'm concerned, it's like Conte needs to be looked at. You know what I mean? It's like I've said it so many times that they're world-class managers, they win stuff, but their style of football is now dated. You know what I mean? They can't even press. Do you know what I mean? If you had Conte and Mourinho coming into this type of football, studying journalism, they wouldn't pass the degree because they have no press. No press. If you've got no press, you can't be a journo. Journo's all about the press. Do you know what I mean? So, as far as I'm concerned, when we got Mourinho, I said 3 years too late. I said it when we got Conte, 3 years too late. It's too late, man. These guys are trying to do this, but it's like you look at all the top coaches that are winning things. I think there's not many coaches that are doing this, but then Tottenham seem to gather these coaches that don't want to press and just want to counter. And like I keep saying, if you want to counter, that's fine. But if you've got no creative midfielders and then your one player in Harry Kane is the guy that you're asking to create and score the goals and you take him out of the game, then you ain't winning the game. And Newcastle clocked it. Manchester United clocked it. I'm just a regular guy that plays football on a Thursdays and I've clocked it. So how has our manager, our club not clocked this? You need to go and get a number 10. You need to have a plan B. Like our plan B was like, if it's not working, chuck on Lucas Moura. But it's like, if you chucked on Lucas Moura, we probably have more chance of taking a lead. But then we bring him on again when we're 2 goals down. We're 2 goals down to Man United. We're 2 goals down to Newcastle. We're 2 goals down to Sporting Lisbon. And then you bring him on. Like for me, like Conte's getting it wrong. He seems to think that his situation and his tactics are going to work. It's not going to work. Why are you changing it when you're 2-0 down? Like 2-0 down, all he's doing at 2-0 down, he's doing the same thing as Mourinho. Sending out a statement and telling players that, oh, you're not good enough. But it's like, why don't you do that at 1-0 down? And then we can start figuring out who needs to be starting in this lineup. You know, if I look at the players as well, Sessegnon, I don't care if it's Sessegnon or Perisic. We haven't got any left wing backs. Perisic, realistically, is a dated winger. And Sessegnon is a dated winger, even though he's quite young. Do you know what I mean? He's got Lingard vibes. Like, we're still waiting for his potential, but he's probably like 27. You're looking at, like Emerson Royal just comes back in like he's Cafu. Like, who is this guy to deserve it? Do you know what I mean? Jed Spence is sitting there, and I think to myself, at least give him a go. Because Doherty's dead. Emerson Royal, like, oh man, like Tottenham fans are going on about like, oh, he nuts somebody. Well done. Like my son nuts me in the study today. You know what I mean? There was times I was watching the football and he put the ball through my legs. Should he play for Tottenham then? Because he put the ball through my legs today. What? Dead. You know what I mean? It's just rubbish. It's rubbish. Do you know what I mean? And then you've got, I don't know what happened with Romero and Højbjerg today. But when they get replaced with Sanchez and Skip, it's like, I like Ollie Skip, but he's not fit. You got Sanchez, it's like all these Tottenham fans that are talking about our transfer window was a 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10, but I kept saying, we're one injury away or one bad performance away from Davinson Sanchez coming. Is it a 10 out of 10 now then? Yeah. 10 out of 10, yeah? Quality window, you know, yeah, we're going to win the league. Yeah? Wicked. Do you know what I mean? You lot need to get your head screwed on. Like, when you get a 10 out of 10 window, it's like not only the players that you bring in, it's the players that you get rid of. And we've still got players that championship teams, if they get promoted to the Premier League next season, and we offered them a Davinson Sanchez, we offered them a Ben Davies, if we offer them a Roy Sessegnon, they'll be gassed. But they probably wouldn't take them for the prices that we do. So, for you lot that think that this is a good enough squad, it's mad. When I gave it a 6 out of 10, I was getting such a backlash. But it's like, I can't believe I give it a 6. It's terrible. It's terrible. You know what I mean? I feel sorry for people like Harry Kane. Because Harry Kane's like, his form is ridiculous right now. But the table and the form of the team suggests that he shouldn't be in it. And for me, if I knew Harry Kane on a personal level, I'd be like, what are you still doing here? Get yourself to Germany, man. Go to Bayern Munich, play with Mane, Joshua Kimmich, all these guys, yeah? And go and win yourself some titles because you're not going to win it here. You know what I mean? Conte is not going to sign. Conte's not going to sign. Kane's not going to sign. So why are we longing it out for? We're just going to get to the point where we're going to be back at that stage where we had Darren Bent and Fraser Campbell up front. And everyone's going to be like, what happened? Because it only felt like 10 minutes ago we had Berbatov, Robbie Keane, and a good team up front. So as far as I'm concerned, I saw it coming. It's a mild stress for me. It's a mild stress. I just think to myself, like, I don't get annoyed because, like, even though I'm hopeful that we win the game, when it all unfolds, I already know what's going to happen. Do you know what I mean? Tottenham will always be a Tottenham. And as I said on my last podcast, it's all about L's. 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 And like I said, in terms of L's, how many L's has Lloris got in his name today? Fault. L's. Lloris. Everyone was gassing him up at Old Trafford. But I said, when he went to North London Derby, what happened? Weak. Look at him today. What's he doing today? Do you think he's playing rugby against Callum Wilson? Like, American football, chesting him up and that. Like, you're just weak. Like, why are you not diving out for a header? And then in the second goal, your distribution is so bad, you might as well just boot it every time. Your distribution is as good as Nick Pope. So when you see Nick Pope, when he gets the ball, he's just booting it. You need to start doing the same, Lloris. I don't know whether it's you deciding to do this or the manager, but you need to start booting it because your kick towards the left back, who isn't a left back, resulted in Almiron getting the opportunity. Everything's dead. We should be a Welsh team. We should be called LLLLL Hotspur because that's what we'll always do. We will always L. We will always lose. I will never have hope. And like I say, everybody that gets me on their podcast, everyone that speaks to me, if they're telling me that I'm reactionary, they tell me that I'm chatting rubbish, they tell me that I'm going on a way or blah, 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 blah. Start listening to what I'm saying. Do you know what I mean? Because Harry Kane is going to leave, Conte is going to leave, and this Enid group will sit in the corner, and Tottenham fans, as a group, we all have a small club mentality, and we don't realise it. Well, you don't realise it, I do, because it's got to the point now where we act like a big club because we've got a massive stadium, we've got all these facilities and that, but realistically, we act like a small club because when Tottenham beat Man United, Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, we all get too gassed. Why are we getting too gassed if we're a big club? Because I don't see Man City getting too gassed if they beat Arsenal. I don't see Liverpool getting too gassed if they beat Man United. It's just what's supposed to happen. But when we do it, it's like performance of the season. So for me, I keep saying it. Tottenham Hotspur are a small club trying to act big. And the reason why I say that is because we don't win anything and our owners, our coaches and our players never act like we're going to do it. So let's understand that Tottenham Hotspur are not a big club, and the only way we'll act like a club is if the owners, the coaches and the players wake up in the morning and decide that we are one, which takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. So understand that this is what happens, and if you have that mentality, then a result like today, you can just laugh about and eat a burger. This is Jacob on the One Up Top. Yeah. See you lot soon.